plays games with Steve.
There's something. No. I guess there's a couple things I want to double check. Well, one of them's not really significant, I guess.
Huh?
First off, this machine. We didn't even end up using this thing, did we?
Yeah.
I was just wondering what it was.
Well, I'm not sure I'm supposed to answer that. Look at the side here. There's a name or something. IG Replicator.
Replicator makes it sound like it makes copies of stuff.
So it's like a copy machine?
Yeah. Probably copies IG, Instagram, whatever that is.
Any ideas?
Who knows? Ice cream by the gallon?
Of course! This machine must be here so we could just make all the ice cream we want. Are you nuts? Sorry, I should have been
I had to wait and step aside so you could do the ice cream line, of course.
Yeah,
as is your right.
But I see, I would believe Sigma would be like, yeah, of course, it's ice cream. But I realize he's being sarcastic here, so... This machine must be here so we could just make all the ice cream we want. Are you nuts? You're one idiotic girl, you know that? In other words, an IG.
Ooh, good one.
Hey, this isn't the time for stupid.
They're both laughing.
Yeah. There's not time. It's not time for this. There's help.
There's a helpless child there in the infirmary. Who needs our help?
Idiotic girl. That was really good, Sigma.
Thanks. I just came up with it on the whim, you know.
I don't know where this is a Sigma original.
I hung my head in shame. At any rate, as long as we don't know what IG means, we can't do anything with this machine, right?
That's right.
Makes sense. On to the second issue. Sigma, you found a journal and some sort of vial in the safe, right?
Hey, Sigma, I could stand for irritating guy, like Dio.
Oh my god, Clover.
That was pretty good,
right?
It's so funny.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Val, could you show it to me again?
Why?
Just echo. Didn't really get a good look at it before. You guys were in there so close I could barely see it. Was it really Excelavir?
Yeah, definitely.
As I
spoke, I pulled the vial out of my pocket. See, it's written right there on the label. Excelavir.
Heh. You really are an idiot.
Huh?
Although I guess in this case, the G in IG stands for God.
That's my joke! What? I don't...
The words were barely out of my mouth when he moved. Sigma, you fucking idiot. Because I could blink. Before I could blink, the vial disappeared from my hand.
Hey, what gives?
What are you doing?
Dio slipped the vial quickly into his coat. Oh, don't worry. I'll keep it safe. I'll even give it back to you later.
No, not later. Give it back now.
I don't think so. If you want it back, you're going to have to listen to my request.
Request?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want this back... If you want this back in the next AB game, you have to choose Ally.
Ally? Wait, is that why you took the medicine? To blackmail me?
That's horrible. You're using Quark's life as leverage.
Well, I've got some really good reasons to do so.
I would just punch him like in the throat here.
Okay, cool. You brought that up. So, and I wanted to say this, but I didn't want to distract from the dialogue. Kick his ass. No one ever fucking punches anybody. I mean, sometimes they do. I don't know. I think like I think Temioji might have done like a shoulder throw or something. Or they always try to punch someone. Oh, they're about to escape the 9th door, and all of a sudden they get like Dragon Ball Z dodging abilities.
Yeah.
I don't know. Take a chance, Sigma. Deck this dude. You know, knock off his stupid fucking hat and distract him, and then punch him in the gut or something. Yeah, I got some really good reasons. I fucking pigged my head. Your daddy squealed real good before he died. Sorry, anyway. I'll be happy to give it back to you. I'll happy to give it back if you just do what I say.
I didn't realize until they started to hurt. I curled my hands into fists. That was my attempt at a Leon.
Leon?
Andros' orders to take you down. If D would only give me an opening.
I wouldn't try and take it back by force.
That's a good point, though. That he, you know, it could break, or he could, break it. Yeah.
Oops, I fell. You make any sudden moves, and I'll smash it.
He patted his pocket gently. I punched him anyway.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelavir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you'll hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Damn it. That's not fair.
This game isn't about compassion. It's not about being clever. And it's not about being clever. It's about one thing. How well you can manipulate people to your advantage. How unfair you can be. So what are you going to do? Ready to promise you'll pick ally?
Fine. I promise.
Sigma!
Oh, I knew you'd say it eventually. I'm glad you understand how this works. But don't think about trying anything funny. Break your promise and, well, you know what happens. See you chumps later. I'm really looking forward to the next round.
With one last salt. Dio doesn't deserve such a good theme.
Yeah.
With one last self-satisfied chuckle, Dio strutted out of the room.
Are you really gonna do what he says?
Yeah.
Sigma, you've only got one BP right now. If we choose ally and he chooses betray...
I know. I'll drop to -1, and that means I'll get penalized.
But that means...
Look, it's not like I want to, alright? If we don't do as he says, then he'll destroy the medicine. If he does that, then Quark will...
So you're gonna die to save his life? That's... Why would you do that?
In all honesty, I was terrified. My choice was far from the foregone conclusion. Well, we should get back to the upper floor. Everybody else is probably finished already. I bet they're waiting for us. I didn't wait for Clover's response. Hey, Clover.
What?
That's us.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe I'd blow your mind. Hey, Clover, you see that down in the bottom left screen right there?
What's that?
That says me and you.
Damn, that was pretty slick, Sigma.
Yeah, you should go out with me.
Hey, Sigma, look at the bottom right. Fucking stop.
Oh.
Amberdeck's gate's been open. Alright, hurry up.
Sorry. I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
Dio. In one of his hands was a moon key. He twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned, and slid it back into his pocket.
You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon, before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the next round.
I glanced around the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back. As was Phi. And of course, Clover. Where's Temioji and the rest of them?
They're in the infirmary.
We carried Quark to one of the beds. Temioji and Luna are looking after him.
I see.
How's he doing? Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly. Beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No change then, huh?
Right.
So, what was your room, Sigma?
A laboratory. Is that so?
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it did. Was there any of that Accelavir?
Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Accelavir in here. I said here like a bunch of times, one word about it, and the next thing you'll hear, little bits of glass are shattering on the floor.
I looked at Dio for a moment. No, nothing. Beside me, Clover bit her lip.
I see.
So how'd it go with you? Find anything interesting? Fly only shook her head. The unison of movement that almost looked choreographed, Allison Kay shrugged. Come on, let's show Sigma our thing.
Yeah.
Where does that leave us? We've still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
What are you gonna do?
I'm a little curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a... I thought I might go take a peek at it.
When I hear Allison K, it sounds like you're saying Allison K.
Allison
Who
K.
would be like the girl in your first grade class who was always student council or something.
Yeah.
I'm Allison K. I'll show you the. I'll show
Allison
you the
K
way.
sounds like a female comedy writer name.
Oh yeah, yeah. Loved her work on 30 Rock. Yeah. Allison K. Yeah.
And woohoo, Clover will show you the way. Then that would be wonderful. I think I'll go have a look at the room Alice K and Tenmyoji found. Never know, maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's some Excelivir hidden somewhere in there.
God, what a bastard.
What a piece of shit. I also want to say something.
Then I shall take you there.
What about you two? Where are you going?
Well, I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary to see how Quark's doing.
Then I will too.
Glad that's settled.
She nodded to Clover and they disappeared through the magenta door. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind.
Clover's so good to tell Alice what happened.
Okay then. Guess we should be going too.
Hold on. Show me that journal first. Dio told me about it. He wouldn't tell me anything about the lab except that you found a journal with his words, some sort of bullshit language. He said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look.
Yeah, one sec. I dug the journal out of my pocket and handed it to Phi. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one.
This is Latin.
Latin? You mean you could read it?
Yeah, with time and a dictionary.
So in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. This looks like some kind of research log. It's not going to be some sort of I took the dog for a walk today. It was nice kind of stuff. I can understand a little of it, mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before.
I started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. And suddenly she stopped.
Wait. I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research notes. It looks like a personal entry.
What's it say?
Don't rush me. This is going to take a minute. Interesting. Alright, I think I got it. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
What? Why are they talking about that? Or why are they talking about that?
Not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind, I'm paraphrasing. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain capacity operates on a one-to-one basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces this to root 1 over 6, or approximately 1 to 0.408. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds, or square root of 6 seconds, have passed outside. Or Radical 6. In other words, when 10 seconds passed in the real world, a patient infected with Radical 6 would feel as if only 4 seconds had passed. This is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Radical is another term for what is also known as the root operation, the function inverse of the taking of a power. In a less mathematical sense, it can also be used to refer to something that is extreme or severe. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The exact cause of this is unclear, And although there is as of yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed, many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch, as if it were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact 24.5 seconds have passed. Given this increased speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason will become a Herculean task. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of this virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but we have been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. Thus far, however, we have been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I've continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict that I will have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It is my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels as if a cloud has gone over the sun. Every day I see more crows, and rats are everywhere feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats. You know what? Good for them, who have grown fat on a plentiful rodent diet.
But now they're fat.
The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Oh Lord, please, let their future be a bright one.
Whoa. That's a lot of information.
And you translated that in about, what, 30 seconds?
Damn. You should translate weekly manga. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6. That's, what, about 40%?
That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Clark was, well, trying to kill himself.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written. Maybe they just haven't found one when this journal was written? I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Accelavir that cures it.
Exactly. But in the journal, it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
Hold on a second. I'm getting confused. When was this thing even written?
December 29th. No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. We read it. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're trying to say that this place might be one of those underground shelters? Or shelter? No, not a question. Is that you're trying to say this place might be one of those underground shelters? Which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But Quark's been infected, right?
Then maybe the virus got in somehow.
That would be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow. Made us sleep for years, maybe even decades. While we were sleeping, the pandemic that newspaper article talked about happened, and whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up?
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
Yeah.
How would they have put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? But most importantly, why the hell are we playing the Nonary game if the point of this place is to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real conclusions. I think we should see if we can find anything else.
I had barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
I changed my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
And with that... she was gone. Man. I let out a long, tired sigh and started off toward the infirmary. How's he doing?
He seems to be stable. Square? Nope.
No. I see. Mind if I have a look?
Please, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. It's me, Sigma. Your best friend, remember? Meanwhile, we were around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing Phi and I talked about would definitely need to be addressed. But for the moment, the AB game was what I needed to concentrate on. Lives were at stake. Mine. Quark's. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The journal was telling the truth, that as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane again. What if we weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before we got to him? Or perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep
Anesthetizing, I guess?
It wasn't like we could keep anesthetizing him forever. There was only one way to save Quark, and that was with Excelivir. Fortunately, Dio had stolen it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would have to vote ally. But if I did, there was an excellent chance I would end up dead. The question was, then, what to do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark? Keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself. It was so faint, I almost didn't hear it. Grandpa? Grandpa?
He shifted a little, then fell silent again. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I have even considered letting a child die in my place? Suddenly my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. That I considered letting Quark die even for a minute was pathetic. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. No way was I going to leave Quark to die. My hands tightened into fists as I looked down at him. Any uncertainty I'd felt before was gone. I knew what I had to do. "10 minutes, dum-dums. All players enter, dum-dums. Hurry up. Hurry up, hurry up. Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back."
What about you?
"Not going. I'm worried about Quark." "But you're a solo. If you don't vote..." "I'll automatically ally." "I know. I heard the voice on the intercom just like you."
What are you going to do if Kay and Alice vote betray?
"Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round." "I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know who my opponents are, right? Alice only has one BP left. If I picked betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm going to kill someone for it. And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see? Doesn't matter if I go into the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way."
Temioji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. Alright. Take care of Quark.
"Of course. You worry about yourself."
Let's go.
Okay.
Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tenmyoji and Quark behind. When we got to the warehouse, we found everyone else waiting for us. Well, not quite everyone. One other person was missing. Hey, where's Dio? Take a look at the doors.
Take a look at the doors. They're all closed. When we came in here before, the one on the far right was open.
And that would mean...
That he went in, I guess.
Exactly.
That bastard. He'd probably been worried I might try and take the accelerator from him by force, so he'd hidden himself in the AB room. What a coward. I made up my mind to choose Ally no matter what, but a part of me had still considered trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now he'd made sure I wouldn't get the chance to try.
Where's Tenmyoji?
Oh,
Luna explained Tenmyoji's choice. I see. Well, I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking Betray.
Right. What will you guys be choosing then?
Ally, of course.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
Yes. As long as Tenmyoji votes Ally, I can't choose Betray. If I do, K's BP will go up to 9.
But what if he forces you?
You needn't worry. I would never do something so crass.
Really?
Of course.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can vote by herself. Then we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Well,
Got him. Got him.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that.
Why not?
I just can't. Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute there.
K continued briskly toward the AB room as if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third room from the left.
I hope Alice is going to be okay. Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kate told the truth, she'll be fine.
5 minutes, dum-dums.
Time's almost up. Come on, Luna. Right.
They headed off. Everyone trots and trot toward the second room from the right. And we're soon out of sight. All right, Clover. Time for us to go.
Okay. Right behind you.
I sighed to myself and head toward the leftmost AB room.
What are we doing?
Boy. Because... Oh, I'm not going to talk.
What are you going to do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm going to choose Ally.
You can't. You'll die.
Well, you never know. Just because Dio told us to Ally doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pick Betray.
Do you really think a jerk like that is going to choose Ally if he doesn't have to? No. No way. He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks Betray, then he'll have 9 points.
Well, what about you?
Huh?
You've got 6 BP too, right? Dio chose Ally and we chose Betray, then you'd have 9 BP.
What? No, that's not... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's who he is.
I'm trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. The only choice is Ally. It's the only chance we have to get that medicine back.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Accelavir, even if you do what he says?
Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't going to listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice. I'll be pushing that button.
Huh? Before I realized what was going on, Clover ducked past me and ran toward the voting machine. No! Stop! I snatched her by the arm and hauled backward with all my strength.
Ow!
Sorry. Guess that was a little too hard, huh?
Hey, what do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Well, you're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're gonna die. Dio's going to kill you. You can't do this. I don't want you to die.
"10 seconds, dum-dums."
Thanks. Means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. I gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the polling machine.
3, 2, 1.
I mean, I pick Ally and Dio's just gonna get away. You know, I want Dio to kiss my ass. Kiss my ass, Dio.
Okay, dum-dums.
Kiss my ass.
I guess we'll find out what happens tomorrow.
Oh!